Here's a fact no one teaches. By 1000 AD, native surgeons in Peru were performing brain surgery, and their patients survived more often than Civil War doctors did 800 years later. Let that sink in. But here's the part that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about medicine. Before Columbus ever set foot in the Americas, indigenous medicine wasn't guessing. It was centuries ahead. Long before stethoscopes or white coats, native healers mastered the mind, body, and spirit. They knew which herbs could stop bleeding, which roots could ease childbirth, and how the moon, the land, and the stars could affect the health of a person and an entire people. So why don't we learn about this? Because history erased it. But what it couldn't erase is about to change the way you see the past. Let's go back to the Andes, 900 AD. A man lies still. A healer cuts into his skull, not to harm, but to save. It's called trepanation, and the Inca and Wari civilizations performed it with such precision that 80% of their patients lived. That's better than battlefield surgeons in World War I. They used obsidian blades, coca leaves for anesthesia, and they avoided piercing the brain's protective layers. This wasn't superstition, it was skill, passed down long before Europe even knew the Americas existed. And it's only one example. The Amazon, the plains, the deserts, each was a pharmacy. The Cherokee used willow bark for pain. Today, we call it aspirin. The Yupik used wild artemisia with antibacterial power. The Lakota blended buffalo fat with sage and cedar to draw out infection. When Lewis and Clark nearly died of dysentery in 1805, it was the Nez Perce who saved them, with Cos root, a plant we now know fights viruses. Even the US National Cancer Institute admits over 25% of modern drugs come from plants first used by indigenous people. Coincidence? Not likely. And that's just the start. To native healers, illness wasn't just physical, it was cosmic. The Navajo call it Hoju, harmony with self, community, nature, and spirit. The Maya treated dreams like diagnoses. The Anishinaabe carried sacred medicine bundles with herbs, stones, and songs passed down for centuries. Even today, Western psychology is just catching up to what indigenous knowledge always knew. Mental, spiritual, and emotional health are all connected, and the deeper you look, the more advanced it becomes. Medicine wasn't just the realm of men. In many native nations, women were the doctors. The Apache Gonke were midwives and bone setters. The Iroquois clan mothers held political and healing power. The Zuni rain priests, often women, governed fertility, crops, and health using corn pollen and ceremony. Europe called them witches, but their people knew better. They were scientists of the sacred. And then, the silence came. Then came 1492, and with it, silencing. Ceremonies were banned. Medicine bundles burned. Boarding schools punished native children for even speaking their language, let alone practicing medicine. But the knowledge didn't die. It went underground. And in the shadows, it survived, waiting for the day it could rise again. In 2022, scientists validated dozens of native healing plants. Western medicine is now studying what indigenous people knew 1,000 years ago. Not folklore, evidence. And if you think that's the end of the story, you're wrong. Native American medicine before Columbus wasn't magic. It was science rooted in land, memory, and spirit. They performed brain surgery, healed infections, balanced the body with the cosmos, and trained women and men to be stewards of health long before modern medicine existed. If that's not genius, what is? If this history opened your eyes, subscribe to Native Historian.